Hey, it's Johnny Jet. Welcome back to my podcast YouTube channel. And today we welcome back Robert Rose from Raw Travel TV. And, Robert's a great guy. He has a popular TV show that's on CBS and KCAL in Los Angeles. It's on all over the country. Is it on? Can you stream it too?
You could probably stream it through your local channel. They have the rights to stream it locally.
Not on Amazon yet, though.
No, nothing like, well, actually some of the older episodes are on Pluto. So you can go to Pluto and stream the first, I think, 4 seasons of Raw Travel. We're in season 9 right now.
Season 9.
Yeah. Going into season 10.
How many countries have you filmed? How many countries have you been to, and how many have you filmed in?
I would say, I haven't stopped to check count in a while. But I would say like around 70 or so I've visited, and I probably filmed in 40. I'm just purely guessing.
I got you,
Johnny. I don't know. I need to stop and do that, but I'm always so busy. Like for example, I'm in Paris right now. It's my second time in Paris, but the first time I came purely just to travel in 2012 before the show. And then now I'm here, supposedly to film, though I've been knocked off track a little bit, but
yes.
So
that's why I actually invited you back on, because I was looking at your Facebook posts where you said you're filming, but you weren't feeling well and you took the COVID test and unfortunately came back positive.
Yeah.
And so I just thought we could talk about your experience to help other people to, prevent any mishaps and you said you think you got it on the plane, which surprised me.
All I know is that on Tuesday, so I flew in on a Saturday overnight flight
from New York,
Sunday morning. Yeah, from Newark, New Jersey, United.
Yeah.
So from New York, direct flight. And I don't sleep much on planes. And so, but I like taking those overnight flights, because then you arrive in the morning, you power through the day, you go to sleep a little bit early the next day, and you just zonk out like a zombie.
See, I'm the opposite.
Oh, really?
When I go to Europe from like the East Coast, I like taking that one morning flight. I don't know, they stopped it for a while, but I know Virgin Atlantic had it, or BA had one at like 9 a.m. and you land at like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And then, because I can't sleep on planes. I like to work on planes.
I can't either. I can cat nap on a plane. That's about it. All I can do, a few minutes at a time, but not.
Yeah.
And I don't fly first class because I'm afraid I'll get addicted to it, and then I won't like flying regular. So I have this argument with this friend of mine. She's like, if it's over 5 hours, I always fly first class. And I'm like, I'll only fly first class if someone else is paying, or I got miles or something like that. Or if it's just super cheap compared to regular. I was flying business economy. And I think this was the first international flight, I know it was, that I had taken where masks were not required because of the law they changed in April, or the
rule
shut down, which I don't really I have opinions about, but I won't get into them. But I'll just say I felt like it's just odd that on the 5th trip that I go, that the one without masks, that 2 days later I start showing symptoms of COVID. Now the thing that's tough though is that I always feel like garbage when I go to Europe because of the jet lag, right? So I just assumed it was jet lag combined with maybe some allergies, because it is heavy allergy season here. Somebody who had toured me around the day before was just sneezing like a maniac, and he's like, oh, my allergies. So it was really hard to pinpoint. And that's the reason, like I showed slight symptoms on Tuesday. I didn't test until Thursday morning.
Well, maybe your tour guide should get a test.
I've already contacted everybody. They're all negative. So I thankfully didn't. We were all outside,
Gotcha. Right.
So, we'll see, and I could have got it at the airport as well. I was hanging out, talking to somebody who I just texted them and let them know, someone I met. I said, oh, by the way, I tested positive. And they were like, oh, no, I'm good. But they weren't vaccinated. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I have no idea, God. Who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, it's in Paris, the mask mandate and the lifting, they were very, very strict for a while, very strict. And they just took it off about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's great for me for filming, because when I went to Portugal, even Argentina a little bit, people were wearing masks on the streets, and I'm just like trying to avoid shooting people in masks. I just don't want to film that because it dates the content.
Gotcha.
I pride myself on producing evergreen content that you can watch.
Let's hope it dates the content.
Yeah, let's hope. That's right. Well, and it's starting to look more and more like it's going to be a period of time that, but yeah, ideally I would like it to be able to run for 7 years. And so it just, plus I just don't think it's attractive on air. It's all constantly changing. But anyway, I was excited that had happened here in France a little bit, but I also knew it was going to be risky just because of the numbers in New York. I was watching the numbers in Europe, and I said, and I'm hitting 3 countries on this trip, which is also new. Normally I go to one country and then come back, because going country to country is really hard. So on this trip, I timed my 4th shot, my 2nd booster, to a week before I was heading out. Also, because I'm trying to get into Ukraine and I don't want to get sick in Ukraine. I didn't want to get sick there. So I guess if you had to have COVID early in the trip in France, is a good spot to get it. So I feel pretty fortunate, and I haven't had to rely on the France excellent healthcare system they have, thank God, too, other than getting tested. And they were all very nice.
So what was it like? So you weren't feeling well. So where'd you go get tested, first of all?
Yeah, so I brought, and this is what I recommend everybody do. Now, as you know, as of today, you don't have to test to get back into the United States. So I got lucky on that one, because sometimes you test positive weeks after you're over COVID, and you have to get a certificate of recovery to fly to the US. And I was getting emails from people who were asymptomatic or were over COVID, but had not yet tested negative, and they were stranded in Lisbon and different places all over.
Right.
So when that happened, I was like, I've been living right. I got unlucky, but I got lucky there.
Totally.
But because of the testing to get back into the US, I bring tests with me, quick test. So I brought a couple extra because I was going to Ukraine and going to be gone for a while. So I just, I did a quick test, saw the line. I said, let me do another one just to make sure, saw the line again. And I knew then, I was like, yeah, I got it. And, but I went and got a PCR just to be sure, because I was going to rebook airfare. I was going to rebook an an apartment rental. So I got to cancel all my shoots. There's a lot of things, and contact all the people. Before I did all that, I contacted people first. That's the first thing I did, because I thought that's the most responsible thing to do.
Right.
And then I canceled my shoots because I said PCR tests won't come back for a while. And then I found out where you could get tested. They're not free here.
How much cost?
45 euros, about $50, I guess.
Long line?
None, zero line. I'm staying on the outskirts of Paris. I'm not in central Paris. I'm in sector 17, I think it's called.
Arrondissement?
I'm sorry?
The arrondissement.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce it. That's why I was sector 17.
You are from Tennessee.
Sector 17. I sound like I'm from some communist country. Say it again.
Listen. If my wife was here, she speaks French. It's like arrondissement.
That's actually on my agenda. Before I film, I have to figure out how to pronounce that, because I got to talk about.
Listen, I can barely pronounce English words, so
I've gotten good at while filming saying, okay, I could get that during the voiceover, when I'm sitting there next to the computer. But I am on the outskirts, and it's more of a residential area, and I did that because it's cheaper. So I'm next to the last stop on the metro. I got a really good deal. I'm paying like 70 euros a night.
Wow.
It's insane. I mean, it was really untested.
Airbnbs,
no reviews or anything like that.
There was no reviews, and you booked it? Wow, you really are brave.
It worked out, man, because when I was supposed to leave the Airbnb on Sunday, so when I tested positive, I was like, oh, where am I going to stay?
Right.
I don't want to jump in a cab. I can't get on the metro. How am I going to I got to find a place in this area. There were none. Luckily, the guy who had rented me that place actually has real estate all over that just happens to be one of the Airbnbs. And he had this one available where I'm at right now. And it was literally 1 block away. And
same price?
Same price. Yeah, he's a great guy. Let me have it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you got to write a good review and then let people know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take care of it, man. Even though he didn't supply soap and shampoo, I'm like, I'm gonna let that slide.
How
As
about a
well.
How about a washcloth? There's no way.
Yeah, yeah, he did that.
They
Yeah.
did. Okay, because a
Yeah.
lot of French hotels do not have washcloths.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean a towel. I did go pay 15 euros here because I didn't see one, and I felt so bad about saying bugging him that I went and bought one for 15 euros. Basically, I looked in the closet and I'm like, there they were. But anyway, long story short, once I got tested, the test came via email, and I was able to check, and it said confirmed positive. And
How
then
long after was that?
I'd say like 5-6 hours.
Oh, quick.
Super quick. And there was no long line. No one spoke English, but I used Google Translate. They understand some English, and so we get by. And actually, I think we even conversed in Spanish a little bit because I can speak a little Spanish. So I just try to find a different language. So I'm speaking English, Spanish, and very rudimentary words in French, like s'il vous plaît.
Right.
No parlez-vous français, s'il vous plaît, parlez-vous anglais. That's, about all I know. And that's all you really need to know in France. If you really want to have a good experience, is just start off with that. S'il vous plaît, no parlez-vous français, parlez-vous anglais.
When I'm in a bind, I usually look for young people because they usually speak English.
They do, and that's the other thing. Most everybody does, and I've had none of that stereotypical unpleasantness. I had a couple people just completely ignore me, but that happens in New York, so I can't really say that's a French thing.
The French are very friendly, especially outside of Paris.
I think so. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, right? But again, I come from New York City. Midtown West, probably one of the surliest places on the planet. And I find good things to talk about there. So I guess my standards have fallen quite a bit in the friendly category. But
so was that testing, by the way, near where you are? I didn't.
Yeah, like a block away. That's what I'm saying.
And were there a lot? Do you know if there's a lot of testing spots like that throughout Paris, or?
I saw a few right outside of pharmacies, like these little tents that they would have. But again, it costs money. So if you want a quick test, I think it's 20 euros.
Okay.
That's why if you can bring them with you, it's good.
Definitely. So you can even, I pack those free government tests, even though you can't use them unless they're proctored to get back into the US, although they changed that rule today. I also have this huge box that I brought because I thought I'm in Canada right now. And I thought we were going to need them to get back into the US. So I packed 6 of them, and those are proctored ones where you take the test and someone's watching you take it.
Yes, I have 2 of those. I took the 2 government quick tests that you're talking about to confirm this one. So I saved the big ones for my return trip,
definitely,
which I no longer need. So I will now use to try to test out. And from what I can understand, what she told me is that 7 days from when I first experienced symptoms, which would be Tuesday, I could test again to see if I test negative. But from what I understand, after 5 days, you can test. If you test negative, you can go back out in the world. After 7 days, even if you're still testing positive, you can go back out in the world. You just need to wear a mask.
Okay.
Until you test negative. That's what I've understood so far. It's constantly changing. And the suggestion I have for people is, research right before you go. It does no good to research a week before you go because things are changing that quickly. And take those tests. Maybe do a little thing that I didn't do, buy some travel insurance in case.
You didn't buy travel insurance?
I did not.
Robert Rose, dude. We need to have a talk.
I usually do.
I buy a yearly plan through Allianz, and full disclosure, I've been one of their ambassadors for a long time.
Okay.
Like 7 years, but my whole family has a family plan.
Who is it?
Allianz.
Okay, the yearly plan. Okay,
you get a yearly plan, but you got to make sure that it would cover COVID and things like that.
That's part of the problem. Is a lot of them have carve outs for COVID. Some countries require that you have insurance for COVID to get in.
Totally.
And so for this trip, I thought about it. I had every intention of doing it, but because of the complex nature of traveling into Ukraine, I was overwhelmed, I guess, with details, and that was one that slipped through the cracks. So it worked out okay, but there was one moment there, and it was the day I got tested, where I was probably feeling the worst, where I did have a slight panic attack because I was like, dude, I did not feel well. and I'm having a hard time breathing.
Oh
And
gosh.
yeah, I was like, I thought the new COVID didn't do that. I was like, I thought the new COVID is just like a head cold, right? And so I was just kind of like, what if
Right.
ran through my head, and I was just like, dude, you really messed up. So yes, buy travel insurance, because if for nothing else, that peace of mind that I could have
Definitely.
had.
Always. I mean,
Yeah,
no matter where you're going, or
that's right.
COVID or not, but you got to make
Totally.
sure that stuff's covered, and you got to read the fine print, because
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
travel insurance, like skydiving is not covered, scuba diving is not covered, things
Yeah.
like that. But
And I think there's so many carve outs. Like you're like, why do it? But then at the end of the day, when you need it, you need it. I'm totally overinsured back in the U.S. Across, because I run a business. So I would probably find a clause in there somewhere where I would be covered. But I'd rather be overinsured than underinsured, and that's the key if you
definitely.
can, especially when I'm traveling the way I'm traveling. So you're right. The other thing I recommend that you do is, in terms of like, what's your plan B if you have to stay longer? Because even though I no longer have to test negative to get back in the US, I wouldn't fly. Not while I'm still COVID.
Because you're a good guy. Most people would like forget that. I know
That's
people would be like,
funny.
forget that. I'm flying. I don't
That's
care.
crazy. I mean, that's what scares me, man, because my faith in humanity has plummeted the last 2 years, because
I
I
understand.
just cannot believe that people react that way. I'm like, I told you, I'm not locked in this apartment. I'm able to walk around. It's beautiful. There's parks. I put my mask on and I stay away from people. And I just don't, I don't think outside with my mask on 7 feet away, they're going to get COVID from me. So I'm like pretty comfortable with that. But to get on a plane for 7 hours is just, when you have COVID,
It's
it's
so
just,
irresponsible. I really hope karma, treats those people the way they should be treated.
yeah.
Um,
And
yeah,
that's part of the
that's
problem.
why when I'm on a plane, so these days I try and book everything first class. I use my miles. I splurge just because I want to reduce my
Smart.
chances of being next to people. Obviously, the person next to me in first class could have it, but
Yeah.
again, the chances
Yeah. You
are in my
reduce
favor.
that.
Yeah,
Right.
instead of
Yeah.
having 12 people around me, I have two, or
That's right.
depending on the plane.
That's right. And I had two people beside me who weren't wearing masks. I wore my mask some of the trip. And frankly, but when you're eating, obviously you don't use it. And then when I was sleeping, I may have like slipped it off.
And were they coughing
That's
or
kind of
anything? Were they anyone coughing near you?
no, no. It's
Okay,
so I really have no proof. They could have been asymptomatic.
right.
Maybe it wasn't the plane, maybe it was Paris, could have been the Uber. When I got to Paris, I was going to take the train because everybody's raving about taking the train to the city. And so I was going to take the train, but the train broke down, stopped running 4 stops in, had to
Okay.
get out and lug all my luggage
Is that
up
the
and down
RER or
RER.
yeah?
Yeah, stopped running, and I had to eventually get an Uber. So you're jet lagged, you're feeling like hell. And I think you're just run down anyway, right? So,
Totally.
since I've been boosted 4 times, I might have been able to, and I'm not a doctor, so I don't know this for a fact, but maybe I could have like fought it off and never even gotten infected had I been well rested,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. But when you travel, I catch colds. I'm prone to getting sick anyway, because you're run down, you're tired, and
Definitely.
lack of sleep is a big one for me, at least
Plus, you got to
personally.
keep your fingers away from your face. That's a big thing when you travel. You're touching stuff, the armrest, then you touch your mouth, your eyes, your nose.
I've gotten really lax with that. I've just focused almost entirely on the aerosol component
I
of it, and
see.
gotten super lax. I mean, I still wash my hands when I come in every day and from outside and stuff, but like it's not like early days
Hand
when I
sanitizer
flew
boxes.
4 people on the plane and one guy's in a hazmat suit and I'm like sitting and I'm not moving. That
Right.
was
I understand.
terror. That was a different time. But it's been, I think, surprising, because France was, as I said, pretty strict. And I heard stories from friends I have that live here about they would check on you. They would come to your house and check on you if you're isolating
Right.
back. So they've obviously not done that. I got one email asking me in French to fill out a contact trace form. I couldn't figure it out. I tried. So I just contacted everybody myself.
I see.
And it seems like pretty much those hardcore days are over.
Yeah, it's like honor system now.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's the way it is here in America. Well, I'm in Canada, but
Yeah. Well, that's still America, man.
North America, yeah. But
Northern America.
yeah,
The
but
nice America, I like to say. The polite America.
yes,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is. Every person for themselves. And, I wish we had better trust in our human counterparts. I wish that sense of community that could have seen us through so much easier existed, because I've seen it exist in other countries. Portugal is a great example. I'm sure they had people that protested and didn't want to get vaccinated or wear a mask, but it wasn't to the level of the United States at all. And the only reason that it even got to those countries is that, like a virus, the anti-vax movement, the anti-mask movement, the, what about my rights movement spread to those places thanks to the help of the internet and social media, and maybe some help from Putin bot farms and things like that, who causes chaos, or North Korea. It just is a fact of life that, a lie spreads faster than the truth. And
it's true.
And COVID showed that, because some people, man, frankly, they need to be ashamed of the way they acted.
Oh,
They need to go back to scrub their social media, because I saw what they said. I saw it, and I'm like, I can't unsee it, and I can't unthink the way I think about those people.
right. These people are not team players; they're wingnuts, and and they're hypocrites. They say my body, my choice, but then, oh, you can't have an abortion, though. I mean, it's like, what the frick? Anyway, that's a whole different.
It is. I don't want to get the trolls rolling, man.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I know. But it's
it's been I'm 2.5. Did you ever get COVID?
no, knock on wood.
No, man. So I hate to say this. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I feel like we're all going to get it. I kind of felt like that.
I mean, that's what they say.
Yeah, it feels like if you haven't had it yet, that eventually you're the only.
But even if you get it, you can get it again. My dad's had it 3 times.
That's wow.
And because they're different strains. It's like the flu. There's different strains of the flu.
Yeah.
There's some people who have the flu at the same time with 2 different strains.
Yeah,
which is insane. But yeah, and I know tons of people who've had it twice.
I know I've heard people have had it, and then like the second time is worse than the first, and so we're probably always gonna have to have boosters. And I guess that's why I'm like, I got to travel. I have to do that, because to me, travel is life. Forget about filming. I need to film and but I don't have to. I don't have to do this show. I would do it because I love it and I want to.
Right.
I would be doing what I'm doing. I would be in Ukraine at the moment filming, because a friend of mine was been there for 5 weeks filming, having the experience that I wanted to have, but because of the TV show commitments,
where were you going?
He got press credentials. He's a stock film videographer.
Okay.
And his name's Rick Ray Films. And he does stock footage that he resells to, like Pond 5. And so he got press credentials early. Matter of fact, right when I said I was going, he was going as well. And we were hoping to hook up in Ukraine. And he's been there for 5 weeks and just told some amazing stories. And I wanted to hook up with him in Poland. Our trips were going to cross. But now, because I had to delay this, I won't. So I have to figure it out. I have to come out to LA and see him. But in Ukraine, the chances of, I thought, getting COVID would be even higher, because they were less vaccinated than most of the EU. My friend, my camera person, who's a refugee from there, who's actually here in Paris now, has had COVID twice. Wow. Her mother's a doctor, so her mother got it because she was dealing with them, and then the whole family got it. So you're right, man. I hope you don't get it, but at the end of the day, if you do, thanks to vaccines, I really feel like what I got was, other than that one scary moment, which I think was a scary moment only because of what I knew COVID had done to a friend of mine, had a double lung transplant. Like that's rough. And thank God he's doing great.
Okay.
And I just hung out with him the week before, and so I think because of vaccines, I could feel how this could be rough, a rough ride. It was rough enough as it was.
So how many days have it been rough for you? And what was the worst day? Do you bring a thermometer with you, a pulse oximeter, anything like that? Those are good things to bring when you travel.
That's right. More good points. So I did not bring my oximeter. I have it at home. I did not bring some of the medicines or the vitamin Bs, the vitamin Ds, the things I would have like any medicine worth anything. So what I did is I got online. A friend of mine sent me a link, and it translates like things like Theraflu. They don't have Theraflu here. So I was like, they were like, get Theraflu. And I'm like, they don't have it here. So you can go at this website link and it'll tell you what the equivalent of Theraflu is.
What's that website? Do you know?
Yeah, I could probably send it to
or
you.
if you send it to me, I'll create a little blog post and we can put these links in there and stuff. Because I think it's smart for people to pack these things when they travel. I carry like a little mini pharmacy.
And you should. With COVID, I think you need to have a COVID preparation kit, something like that.
Even before COVID, but with COVID, I've added things like the pulse oximeter, which I never even heard of. But you have an Apple Watch because it does have the blood oxygen on there.
No, I don't. I have like a Fitbit.
Okay.
I don't think it does.
This thing does. This thing will tell your pulse oximeter too, which is awesome.
Really, that's fantastic.
Your blood oxygen.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to get one, man. I'm Apple,
So
how you doing, man? 98%.
No, that was 95, which is not great.
It's good enough.
But it's good enough, yeah.
Because you're in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been good, especially during that first day. I'd say the worst day I had was the day I tested positive, because I knew I could feel myself getting worse. And so and then I slept a lot, still sleep a lot, still get tired easily. But it's not an unpleasant, I don't know. See, I'm having a hard time distinguishing jet lag from COVID. And so if you're even like, is that jet lag or COVID? Well, then the symptoms are mild, because jet lag is jet lag, right? It's not all that. So the fact that I don't have chills and a fever.
You didn't have a fever at all?
None of that. No, not that I'm aware of.
A cough?
Yeah, definitely had some coughing, but very loose, thank goodness. But it was tight that day that I got kind of panicky, because I could feel it in my chest getting really tight. It was when I slept on my back for like 8 hours. So I started trying to sleep on my front, because I'd heard that in the early days. And I don't know if that worked, but it just relieved the pressure.
Okay.
And I felt better. But, I'm grateful I got this strain. I'm grateful I got it 2.5 years afterwards. I would have rather gotten it at home, where I could have, had everything at my disposal. In New York, you could get tested for free. If I would have Zoomed my doctor. I probably should have anyway, Zoom my doctor and see if they wanted me to do the 5-day regimen that they put people on to make sure they don't have serious issues. But I was just like, I think I can do this on my own. And that's, luckily I got lucky, I guess, so far. I mean, it's up and down. Sometimes you feel like you're 100% and then it comes back and you're like, oh, I forgot I'm sick. So, but assuming that I'm on the right track, I think, it's really almost like not that big of a deal. I was kind of amazed at how little people cared. Like the guy who rented me the apartment came over and I was like, dude, put on your mask. And I was like, I've aired out the apartment, and, I got out of the old apartment a day early so he could air it out, clean it up, get it nice and disinfected for the next guy who's coming 2 days later. And I thought that was a good plan, So
he didn't care. He didn't wear a mask or anything.
Well, he had it with him, but he was just forgot to put it. I'm like telling him to put it on. I was just reminding him, because he was just kind of nonchalant about the whole thing a little bit for his own safety.
Totally.
I was more worried about it than him.
Without a doubt.
And so, my goal is don't infect anybody. If you know it, as far as I know, I have not. Get over it, and then get back to filming. That's my goal, And then I am working on like a little article of quick things to do if you get COVID while you're traveling abroad. And if I get that finished, I'll send it to you so you can maybe.
That'd be great. Of course, I'll link to it.
Yeah.
So where can people find you?
You mean on the show, the TV show?
On the show or online, if you want people to contact you or you want people to follow you?
Yeah. So our social media is all, all the major ones. We're not on TikTok or Snapchat because I'm in my 50s. But I know, I guess I could get on TikTok anyway, but it's just, I don't need another platform. But we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Raw Travel TV. Make sure you put TV at the end, Raw Travel TV. And the TV show is broadcast all across the country, 96% of the country on different affiliates. It's syndication. So in New York, it's on Fox. In LA right now, it's on CBS. In Dallas, it's on NBC. So you just you go to rawtravel.tv and you click on that where to watch. It'll tell you where you can watch in your hometown.
It's impressive. You know, the first show I caught of yours, I just was flipping through the channels. You were on the Aranui in French Polynesia.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Because I sent a writer, I think a couple times on that. It's a cargo ship that goes out to these remote islands. It's how they get their mail and their food, right?
Yeah. That's definitely a once. I mean, I don't want to say once in a lifetime. They want me to come back, and I want to go back. But it's just one of those experiences that when you have it's a very unique travel experience. Like you said, it's half cargo, half passenger.
Is it half passenger? I thought there wasn't that many. Like how many?
It's about half. They have about 300 or so passengers.
Is there really? Oh, I didn't realize it was that many. I thought it was like 24 passengers or something.
Oh, no. I think it started that way.
Okay.
Now it's grown. And I know those guys really well. And you're right. They bring up, they go to islands with 600 inhabitants that are in the middle of nowhere. And the people that live on these islands, like if they want to date someone, they have to borrow the canoe, the kayak, and go to the next island because there's, you don't want interbreeding, right? So you got to like go to the next island. And
damn, I'm so glad I didn't grow up there, man. I mean, I had a rule: I wouldn't date a girl who was a 5-mile radius. I mean, I couldn't imagine hopping in a canoe to go see someone.
Well, I mean, in a way, that's kind of good, man, because you could like have 2 or 3 islands going on. They'd never know about each other if you're a player. I know you were, Johnny.
I might have been, but not anymore. I'm now married.
I know. Well, you should be. I know you got a beautiful family, man. I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. You got a great family, dude. Looks like.
I do. I'm very fortunate. Knock on wood. I'm so lucky. Well, Rob, we wish you the best and good luck. And we'll be watching your show and hopefully you make it to Ukraine. I can't wait to watch that content.
Yeah, I hope next time we come on, it's for something a little more positive. But hopefully this will help maybe somebody that at least be a little better prepared than I was, and basically understand that there's no reason to panic. You'll be all right. Just, be prepared. And if you do have a health issue, which I don't think that I do, what scares you is that they say, oh, if you don't have a health issue, you're cool. I'm like, well, does histoplasmosis count? Because I've got that. It's something I forgot about, and it's like
how do you know what that is?
You gotta like Google it, man. It's like something you get from growing up in a certain area of the mid-South around pigeons and barns, and it gets in. It's like a fungus that gets in your lung.
Damn, you have it?
I guess I was diagnosed with it as in college when I had spinal meningitis, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was wicked, man. And so you have spinal meningitis, which is wicked. And then they tell you that, but then they're like, it shouldn't be a problem. I'm like, shouldn't be? I was only 22. So basically it's never been a problem. Shouldn't be a problem. But then when you get COVID, is that a problem? Is that a pre-existing condition?
Right.
60% of the Americans have a pre-existing condition if we include obesity. So, I think Bill Maher has a show. Well, I know he has a show called Real Time, and I follow the guy. And this guy's so ignorant sometimes. He's like, if you're not fat, don't worry about it. I'm like, bro, that's a lot of people. Like if you're not fat or old. I'm like, okay, so what is it? Survival of the fittest? This is insane, dude. Like, and some people can't help their obesity. And even if they could, you're going to let them just die? That's insanity.
Agreed.
Man. It's just insane. And the dude was just, I don't know what happened to him. He kind of lost his mind after COVID and he just came out with some
crazy shit,
bizarre stuff. And I was like, I got to stop watching this guy,
Wow.
But, I think
I never watched him.
You never have watched him?
No, I have seen him in a bar before, a long time ago.
Did you really? Yeah.
In LA.
I think he's a worm. I mean, that's just, after that, I'm like, yeah, you're a worm, man. And it's obvious he's never traveled outside the touring because he mispronounces countries, all this. I mean, I do that too, but I'm like, dude, it's not Medellin, Colombia. It's Medellin. Like, you're pretty much a hillbilly if you say that. And I mean, he's on national TV. I'm like, did nobody even coach you to tell you how to pronounce these places? And so you know, my respect for him just has plummeted. But I think, you know, if you don't have a pre-existing condition, if you're fairly healthy and fairly young, you know, and you're vaccinated, that's the key. I think you'll be fine, you know, and probably will be fine if you're vaccinated, even if you do have those things. So get out there and travel, go out there and enjoy the world, man, because it's going to be with us for a while. And, you know, just, we need to live, man. We need to live. And so, yeah, anyway, I'm glad I got it now instead of 2.5 years ago. So
and I'm glad you're on the uptake. So upswing.
All right, Johnny. Thank you, man.
All right, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Take
Thank you.
care. See
All
ya.
right.